Yo guys, in this video I'm going to give you the perfect settings for non-claw, claw and paddles. All I ask is that you like and subscribe and watch until the end because these tips will help massively. So we're going to start off with non-claw. Your goal is not to lift your thumbs from the L3 and R3 stick as much as possible. You want to keep your thumbs on there at all times because this will decide if you're smooth or stiff during fights. So you want to put your edit bind to L3, the bind you move your character with. This is going to be the best edit bind because your thumb is always on the L3 when you move. So when you're building, you can always access the edit bind without removing your thumbs. Next, your R3 bind is going to be jump. Why you will have your R3 to jump is because it's going to make you smooth on non-claw. You can build, jump and edit at the same time because your thumbs will not have to move, which will make you look way less stiff when doing this. Next, your switch mode is going to be down on the D-pad and your pickaxe is going to be right D-pad. Now you may be thinking, how will this work? Well, if you actually drag your L3 towards the D-pad with your thumb, you will notice you can press down and right on the D-pad without removing your thumbs off the stick. Most non-claw players will not know that, but it is super helpful into not being stiff because you may think you can do this with R3, but because that controls where you look, it will make your character always look to the right. But with L3, you're already moving, so it doesn't matter. It will take some time to get used to, but you would definitely get used to it. Now we have two really important binds left, which is the bind for crouch and bind for sprinting. Now personally, I think sprinting is much more important to staying smooth. So you're going to use your touchpad for sprint because it doesn't really matter what your bind is for your map. It's not very important and used. Probably thinking, how can I use my sprint? It's impossible. Well, basically, if you put your thumb at the top edge of L3, you can actually press your touchpad without losing momentum in fights. Now, you're probably thinking, what about crouch? Unfortunately, crouch is going to have to be a little bit compromised. You're going to put your crouch down to X. It's not the best place, but if you want to be as smooth as possible on non-claw, then crouch will have to be X. Why you use X is because X is right next to the R3 button, which means it's the closest and fastest button to your movement, which is going to be very helpful. Now lastly, you should remember that this will take some time to get used to. So if you switch, remember to give it time and try to keep a positive mindset. Here are the final binds so you know. So L3 is edit, R3 is jump, down D-pad, switch mode, right D-pad, pickaxe, X is crouch, touchpad is sprint, L2 confirm, and R1 reset. If you use these binds for non-claw, they will help you massively. Now moving on to my grip, non-claw and paddles. This is so good for controller in my opinion. It made me 10 times better than what I was on non-claw. So again, when it comes to paddles, the goal is to keep your hands on the thumbsticks at all times so that we are smooth and optimized as possible so you don't lose momentum during fights, which is very important. So first, we're going to be going over the paddle bind. So for two paddles like me, I play on the DualSense Edge. I use the left paddle as jump and the right paddle edit. These two are so important for your mechanics because jump and edit are used loads and you want to make sure you don't lose that momentum. Now your switch mode is going to be L3. Now you're probably thinking, why L3? Well, L3 switch mode is insanely underrated because when you're moving, you can also use your switch mode, which is going to help massively with momentum and also keeping that smoothness. Your R3 is going to be crouch and slide because during fights, these two help you with angles and getting you out of certain situations. It's going to be easier to use with no effort. So I would definitely try use R3. Now, two more binds. Sprint is going to be down D-pad and pickaxe. Me personally, I use triangle, but a lot of people use right D-pad as L3 is close to the D-pad. You can actually press both down and up without moving your thumbs, which makes the momentum even better. So if you actually put the L3 all the way to the left and make sure your thumb is somewhat off the L3, then you can actually press both down and right on the D-pad, which is going to be super helpful so you don't have to take your thumbs off the sticks. Now when it comes to confirm and reset, you want your confirm to be L2 and your reset to be R3 or R1 depending on your preference. Personally, I like R3 because you can slide and reset quick, which helps with you getting out of certain situations and fighting during fights. So quickly again, here are the best binds for paddles. Left paddle, edit, R3, reset and slide, triangle, pickaxe, down D-pad, sprint, right paddle, jump, L3, switch mode, and L2, confirm. If you use these binds and practice over and over again, but like I said with non-claw, you've got to give it time and have a positive mindset if you are changing binds. But if you're just switching to paddles, then it's definitely going to take you more time because you've only just switched. So just give it time and it will help you out in the long run. Now we're going to be going over claw grip, which is used by a lot of controller players. This is going to be me. I will go over single claw and double claw. So when it comes to single claw, it's the same as the last. Keeping that momentum, making sure the thumbs are on the L3 and R3 stick. So first we're going to be starting off with switch mode. This is going to be triangle because when holding claw grip on the right side, triangle is easy to press with no effort. So now that's triangle, you want your jump to be easy to press as well. So your jump needs to be X. This is because you want your jump and switch mode closer to lesser your finger movements. Now your edit bind is going to be L3 edit and your crouch bind is going to be the R3 bind because these are very easy to press because they're going to be on them at all times, meaning you can press them at all times. Your pickaxe is going to be down D-pad and your sprint is going to be right D-pad. Again, if you skip straight to this section, you can actually press both binds whilst your thumb is still on the L3. Like I said, you can't do this with R3 because that's how you look around. L3 is better because you control your movement. Now for claw, you want to make sure your confirm is L2 and your reset is R1. Personally, I don't like edit on release, but if you do, you should try use it on claw. So the final binds for claw, triangle, switch mode, circle, jump, down D-pad, pickaxe, right D-pad, sprint, L3 edit, R3 crouch, L2 confirm, R1 reset. Like I said before, you need to make sure you give this time. If you're not giving this time and you're getting frustrated, then you will not get better and you will not become a smoother player. These binds are the best binds for each grip, so just make sure you give it time. Now if you play double claw grip, I got the right binds for you. I'll make it quick. What you want to do is go to the claw section of this video and copy the binds for the right hand claw, but play double claw with them. Just apply them to the single right hand claw. Personally, I don't recommend double claw, but it's whatever you are most comfortable with. So make sure if you're playing double claw, you copy the right hand single claw I just did in the last section and you use them. Now guys, that is the end of the video. If you did make it to the end, comment W. Also, please be sure to like and subscribe as it helps me out a lot. And consider using code TIE27 in the Fortnite item shop. I hope this video helped, but until next time, peace.